Hello guys, welcome to part 3 of building a VWAP indicator on Python. In our last videos, we saw that we had imported the data using Pandas library in Python, and we had also appended all the column values into this list of open, high, low and close. Okay, now we had also made an empty list for the VWAP calculation where we will be adding all the VWAP values. And we also saw that the formula for calculating VWAP is price into volumes, sum of price into volume divided by the sum of volume. Okay, and how are we calculating this price? It is basically the sum of high, low and close values divided by 3. Okay, so now we will be calculating this price first, and then we will be calculating the VWAP values. Okay, but to calculate the price, we first need to see whether the elements that are present inside these lists are of type int or float. Okay, because to perform arithmetic functions we need to have them as float type or as int type. Okay, but since these values are in decimals, these should be in float values, otherwise it will do round off. Okay, so what I'll do is I will like to see print type of open underscore price. I will say 0. Okay, so this will give me the type of the first value in the open underscore price. Okay, should be two brackets. It should not be string. Okay, if it is string, then we have to convert. Okay, so it is string. Okay, so now we need to convert this into float. What I'll do is we would like to have a look of how the data actually looks. So as you can see, there is a comma in between. Okay, so this comma, first we need to remove this comma. Okay, because if we convert this into string, oh sorry, if we convert this string into float, it will not get converted because of this comma in between. Okay, so we will first need to remove this comma. And how do we remove this comma? We will use a for loop. I in range len of open underscore price. What I need to do is, so here we will be iterating for all the values of I. What we will do is open underscore price I, which is the ith element, equals open underscore price I dot replace. Okay, we cannot directly delete the comma, but we can do a replace function. So it will replace the first value, which is the comma, by the second value, which I will keep it as empty. Okay, because I don't want to add anything in place of the comma. So what this should ideally do is it will remove the comma. Okay, and then I can say that open price, because now there is no comma, I can say that the ith element should be equals to the float value of the ith element. So this will convert all the elements and will first it will remove the commas, and then it will replace them with the float value of the ith element. Okay, so this should ideally solve our problem. I'll do a run and let us see what happens. Now I'll do print type open underscore price 0. Okay, of the first element. As you can see, it is of float type. Now I'll do a check whether it has any comma. It should not have. So as you can see, the comma has been omitted. Okay, now this thing we need to repeat it for um, all the list. Okay, because we will be performing arithmetic functions on all of these. Okay, so open, then we have I, OH, then we will have low. So this also needs to be high. This also needs to be high. Then we'll do same thing for low values. Is low. This has to be low, and then similar for the close value. Okay. Now, why I am only using range length of open underscore price? Because as we have seen in previous video, length of all this list is similar. Okay. For every I value of open, we have I value of close, high, and open. Okay. So this should work ideally. And let's do a run function. After this, what we can do is we can now start adding these in the VWAP. Okay. So one thing to do. Okay. So we have not taken the volume. Okay. So now we have the price calculation. We can do the price calculation, but then we need the volume. Okay. So I'll declare a list here, which is the price equals. Okay, or you can do one thing, we will declare it here only, and we will append the values here. Okay, so I can say that price of I equals, we can see the formula is high plus low plus close. It be high price plus low price plus the closing price divided by 3. Okay, equals this. Okay, so this should ideally append the values into price. Now we will also print the length of price, which should be similar to, so it should have the same length as of the other list. Okay, I'll do a run function. Now it will print the length of all this list, which should be same. Okay, so it is giving us an issue list assignment index out of range. Okay, so why is this happening? Let us check. Okay, yeah, okay, so because price is basically an empty list. Okay, so it cannot have any ith element. So instead of this, we need to do append, because we are adding the elements. Okay, not referring to them. So now we try to run the function. It works. 2726, as you can see, is length of all these 5 lists. Okay, so which means for every open value there is a high value, there is a low value, there is a close value, and we have the price value as well. Okay, now if we look back at our VWAP formula, we have calculated the price. What we need to do is we need to multiply these values by the volume. Okay, but when we multiply this by volume, there will be another issue that will arise, which we will see in our new video, in our next video. Please stay tuned for the next parts of this project, where we will be building a VWAP indicator entirely into Python. Thank you so much.